The following is a special presentation of Fox Sports Net Films.
Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. It's hard to even think of one without the other. Forever linked through their Hall of Fame careers, the two great players of their time engaged in a rivalry that became the essence of the NBA, the single most important factor in the league's phenomenal growth throughout the 1980s. But the saga of Magic and Larry actually began before they entered the league together in 1979. For them, the game that started it all was the 1979 NCAA championship between Michigan State and Indiana State. That was the game that changed the game.
Because of the presence of those personalities and the buildup that that game received put college basketball into warp speed.
That was compelling television because the two of them were so enormously talented.
Oh, look at that, Gilbert scores! What a pass!
That you didn't want to leave because you never knew what they might do.
Magic Johnson with the ball. Oh, look at Irvin, Magic Johnson.
It was a magical time.
Magic versus Bird, the game that changed the game. On a March night in 1979, the two most charismatic, team-conscious players of their era met as opponents for the first time ever. Off the court, the two couldn't have been any different. Magic, lively and outgoing. Larry, stoic and reserved. But on the court, they were remarkably similar. Two gifted athletes who together lifted basketball's popularity to unprecedented heights. Here it is 20 years later. Larry, I'll start with you. What do you remember about that night, that game?
Well, obviously it was the biggest game of our lives. At that time, going into it, there was just a lot of hoopla and a lot of eyes on the teams. My team has never been in that situation. Every step we took during the tournament just continued to get bigger and bigger. The one thing is that we felt we had a great opportunity to win the game.
From their side of it, I mean, being 33-0, I mean, that was just incredible. So we had so much respect for them. And then, but not just for them, but for Larry. I think we were so scared because Larry affected the game 2 or 3 different ways, and the team fed off of him. Not only his scoring ability, but his passing ability, and also he was the energizer of the team. Right. We had never been in a game like that, nor had we faced a player like Larry.
In 1979, the only other college player with the ability to match Bird was Magic Johnson. And all year, fans had hoped the two would play in the season's final game. And when they did, the meeting was revolutionary.
Here were two guys who were hearkening back to a different time that said, no, I'm going to make it cool to pass. And they changed the game. They changed the game.
They were big men who were unselfish, big men who were known for passing, big men who loved to dish it more than score it, even though they both could score anytime they wanted to.
You brought two of the greatest players to ever play the game together in one big moment.
The fact that they did come together and meet in the championship game was something fortuitous made by the gods. It created a moment. Television was there to record it.
Perhaps we've never seen a final game with two greater individual players than Larry Bird, the Player of the Year from Indiana State, and the Magic Man from East Lansing, Irvin Johnson.
It did bring March Madness to a different level.
Those two guys were special. They're always going to be up there on the marquee board, and they've really transcended the game.
That particular game and that matchup set the tone, and I don't think it'll ever be erased. I think it's going to go on forever.
Did you have an idea that the game would symbolize so much later on when you stepped onto the floor that night?
No. We just wanted to play and try to win the game. Yeah. I mean, all the outside stuff meant absolutely nothing to me. All I cared about was trying to win that championship and take it back to Terre Haute.
Have you ever watched the game, Larry?
Never watched it.
Not even in 20 years? No. And have no desire to?
No.
No? Maybe you'll check it out on Fox when we put this together. How about you? You probably watched it 100 times, right?
Well, I watch it because of the fact that, you know what I really love? The fact of seeing us both young. seeing us with the shorty shorts on, the interviews, listening to both of us as young men.
Going to the NCAA and playing in a game like tonight in the finals, and it's a dream come true.
I'm representing not only myself, my team, but we're representing our school and our town, Terre Haute.
The fact that the two best players at that time was playing against each other with the two best teams. I mean, so a lot of stories within a story. And Midwest boys, Midwest teams, that whole thing. It just was a great story, and that linked us together forever.
When we come back, Magic and Larry, the early years. Welcome back to Magic versus Bird, the game that changed the game. Because of the backgrounds coming from the Midwest and the larger families, Larry, I'll start with you on this. How did that, do you think, helped shape or mold you as a basketball player?
I can remember the first time I got my first basketball. It was around Christmas when I was 4 years old. And we had a hoop up outside, and we played on gravel, and it was really hard to dribble because the rocks would kick the ball all over the place. So I always said that's where I got my ability to handle the ball. Magic grew up in a plush neighborhood with all the glass bank boards and all that.
I gotta go now. That's it. What is he
so the background is a little different.
Hey, Chris. 10 kids. I'm sorry. If I was out there playing basketball too long, I missed dinner.
For Magic Johnson, home was Lansing, Michigan, where his basketball skills were polished at an early age.
I learned how to dribble by going to the grocery store, picking up food for my parents, and I would always dribble right-handed one way and dribble left-handed the other way.
By the time he got to Lansing's Everett High, Magic's act was good enough to win the state championship. Along the way, showcasing his undeniable flair for the game. Meanwhile, in French Lick, Indiana, Bird's high school career had also pointed to greatness. The two high school All-Americans were on the same fast track to success, although it wouldn't be until the summer of 1978 that the two would finally meet as college stars. Larry, what was the first time you met Magic?
We were playing together on an all-star team.
And Larry keep lying, telling everybody I wouldn't pass it to him.
It's funny because Magic's such a great passer, but he wouldn't give me the ball. And, and I need the ball.
I thought I passed him the ball. Maybe he forgot it.
I pass it to you all the time.
Well, I had to go get the rebound, so give it to him so he gave it back to me.
Did you see a little of Larry in yourself at all? And Larry, did you see any of Magic in you as you went through this game and through your career?
Well, all the hype was true. A guy his size, be able to handle the ball and set people up with easy shots and penetrate and score and rebound. One of the greatest things in basketball, I think, is anytime you can get a guard or a small forward to rebound the basketball and be able to bring it up the court to make the plays. That's one of the toughest things to stop. And Magic was the best at it because of his size and his ability to handle the ball. It was scary watching him come down on breaks with that size and having guys run the wings. It was awesome to watch.
Before you met Larry, you had heard a lot about this guy.
First of all, when I heard about him, I couldn't believe a guy was that good. And then when I actually got to play with him, it's scary to have a guy who played just like you in a sense. I'm talking about his will to win, his ability to see the whole court, to make the play. He was a ball player.
Their style of play is so similar, which is pretty amazing that two guys come along at the same time and they're such paramount team players.
Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were so alike and yet so totally unalike. Basketball brought them into a sameness. Neither one was lightning fast, neither one could jump very well, but both were tall, both could handle the ball, and both were really magical when it came to passing the ball to others.
They both had such highly developed games by that point. They were almost like pros playing with college kids.
Look at Bird! Here he goes!
The games were a reflection somewhat of their personalities. Magic, the buoyant, the showman, full of personality. Bird just had this extraordinary determination and dedication, which you can see came from someone who did not have it easy in life and worked hard all his life to make himself the great player he became.
No one really at that point in time had seen you know, a guy of Bird's size doing the kinds of things that Bird would do.
There goes Bird. Oh, Gilbert! Look at that! Gilbert scores!
How did he do that? You watch him play, and you think, how can this big, slow white guy play like this?
Larry had the ball in the corner, and he took the ball behind his head and went behind the Wichita State player's head, and the opponent turned around and looked, and then Larry brought the ball back and shot from the corner. Bullseye. It was incredible. The fans went wild, and I felt sorry for that poor guy in Wichita State.
He was like a flock. I mean, he was a lot of birds. It's like that movie, The Birds. You know, one bird, you could slap that away and be fine. Tons of them coming at you, and they're going to pummel you and peck you to death. He never smiled out on the floor. He wore a perpetual game face while he was doing his damage, his destruction. Irvin, on the other hand, he would kill you softly. He'd stroke you while he's turning the dagger.
But when that smile flashed, look out, he lulls you. He was a psychiatrist. He could hypnotize you into thinking that we're all going to relax here, and then the next thing you know, the ball's in somebody's hands and it's gone.
For a man 6'9", the fluidness of his moves, the college basketball had never seen a Magic Johnson before. He was like the Scarlet Pimpernel. He was here, he was there, he was everywhere. He was magical in every way.
It was the first time they got two big men playing a different type of game that it wasn't the norm. It wasn't guys going down into the post. Larry was a guy that could play 30 feet from the basket, but still affect you from 30 feet. And here I am, a big guard, bringing it down. These things hadn't happened in college basketball.
When we return, we'll look at 1979, Magic and Michigan State.
It was showtime at Michigan State, and Irvin would run the show.
Welcome back to Magic versus Bird, the game that changed the game.
All right, we're ready for the coin toss, and Gregory Kelser is going to call it in the air. Gregory, are you ready? Okay, go. No, wait a minute. No, that's a little bit of magic we hadn't planned on.
Magic 79, your second season, but the one before you lost to Kentucky, the eventual champs. What were your expectations going into that second year?
Well, I thought we had a chance to win it all. We learned a lot from that Kentucky game because they went on to win it all. Actually, we were beating Kentucky most of that game, and they came back in the last 4 minutes to really beat us because we didn't know how to win the game. We didn't know how to close them out. So coming into the season, we was ranked like number 2, number 3. Then we actually got up to being number 1 in the country at one time.
State's start was all it could have wanted. Its only blemish, a 1-point road loss to North Carolina. The highlight was 3 convincing wins in the Far West Classic, including a 74-57 drubbing of Big Ten rival Indiana in the final. But dark clouds were on the horizon.
We came into the Big Ten season ranked number 1. We had 2 Big Ten games. We did pretty well. Then we got to Illinois. Eddie Johnson hits a shot at the end of the game to beat us. We go from Illinois to Purdue. Same thing happened. A guy hits a shot at the buzzer to beat us again. So now we're 2-2 in the Big Ten, and we're not playing very well.
And State's situation was about to get even worse. The Spartans lost another close game, this time to Michigan, and then suffered their most humiliating defeat of the 79 season.
Northwestern beat us by 18 points at Northwestern. This is the last place team in the Big Ten, and from there we had to have a team meeting.
There was a quote-unquote team meeting after the Northwestern loss. You know, we were 4-4 in the Big Ten, coming back home.
We're pretty much on the brink of self-destruction.
We lose another game the rest of the season. I don't think we could even get a tournament bid.
And they have Ohio State was 8-0 coming to Jennison Fieldhouse. Irvin gets hurt.
Irvin went down in the first half. They diagnosed him with a badly sprained ankle. They told us at halftime, both the doctor and the trainer, he could not return.
It was a drop in the gym. You could feel the tenseness of it because we had to win that game.
We're sitting there going, oh, you know, we've got to have a miracle here.
Everybody was on pins and needles waiting to see if he was going to come back.
And suddenly, with about 11 minutes to go in the second half, there's this tremendous roar.
He did come back out and he helped us put that game away on one leg, limping up and down the floor.
As Magic later put it, I told the doctors and trainers there's no use holding me back for tomorrow, because if we lost, there was no tomorrow.
From that time on, it was showtime at Michigan State, and Irvin was running the show.
With Magic's show playing to rave reviews, State went on to win 10 straight games. A meaningless loss to Wisconsin slowed the Spartans' run, but at 21-6, Michigan State had won the Big Ten title to earn its place in the NCAA tournament.
People got to remember the first two teams basically in the conference usually went to the tournament. It's not like it is now where 7 teams get to go out of the conference. So you really had to play good basketball. You really had to win the conference or come in second to go to the NCAA tournament.
When we come back, the Sycamores' Cinderella season.
The longer the year went, the more games we won, the more confidence we got.
Welcome back to Magic versus Bird, the game that changed the game.
Can you tell us your name, although I don't think we need to ask?
Brad Miley.
Brad Miley. You're not Brad Miley.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird. And you're from French Lick, Indiana.
You said it all when you said it.
And what first got you interested in basketball?
Girls.
Girls? Because you found that the girls like basketball players?
Down French Lick, you know, not very many people play, so we got a bunch of girls up and just got interested in it.
Okay, and how long have you been playing basketball, Larry?
I started 2 years ago at Indiana State, so I've probably been playing, well, I'm 22, I probably played 24 years.
24 years.
Larry Bird's math might have been a little off, but his basketball always seemed to be on target, especially in 1979, when Bird and Indiana State took flight and fashioned one of college basketball's most memorable seasons. For the Sycamores and their fans, that year wasn't just about basketball. It was about gaining respect for an overlooked and underrated team, a team that knew it was good and kept winning game after game.
The longer the year went, the more games we won, the more confidence we got.
We played in Missouri Valley. You know, all road games are tough, but we found a way to win the games. We had some close games where we pulled through.
The closest of those games came at New Mexico State. That night, the undefeated Sycamores were headed straight for their first loss. Bird had fouled out, and State was nearly out of time.
We were battling all the odds.
New Mexico State's fans were chanting 18-1, 18-1.
They had a 2-point lead with 3 seconds, and they're on the line shooting a 1-on-1.
Greg Webb, missed the shot.
We got to rebound through it to Bobby Heaton.
Here comes the ball to me, so, it was one of these things you just kind of catch it and turn and let it fly. And then, boom, the bomb hit.
2 seconds. Heaton half the length of the court. Got it! He made it! He made the shot! I don't believe it!
And we end up winning the game in overtime.
The Sycamores have won the ball game, Bob. I can't believe this game. I don't believe this one.
Miracles do happen. We proved it.
Indiana State 91. New Mexico State 89.
Wow, the big guy upstairs must be on our side. This must be a team of destiny.
It was Cinderella. I mean, Cinderella did have her gown on.
By the time the winning streak reached a remarkable 28, national television finally reached Indiana State.
Terre Haute and Indiana State have gone wild. They've been waiting for this day.
And Bird put in a performance worthy of an Emmy.
Pass off. Staley from the side. No good. Guess who's there? You got it. Larry Bird. Nix shooting high. Bird is there. Come on. 43 points, Larry Bird. Student body wants Larry Bird to have the ball. He's got the ball. He's got the shot. He's got the ball. This is Larry Bird. All-time high, 49 points.
It was a time in the history of Indiana State and Terre Haute that the likes of that hadn't been seen before and probably won't ever be seen again.
Once you get that streak and you don't have a blemish, you have to think about that each time, right? That about staying perfect.
Not really. We just played. The one thing about the team I played on, everybody had a role and they stuck to the role. You know, if a guy averaged 6 points a game, he wouldn't try to get 20 points. If he got his 6 points and everybody else got the rebounds and stayed within their roles, we would win, and we knew that. We stuck together through the good times and the bad times, and we played good, solid basketball. We played basically the same every night. But to sit here and tell you we was going to go 33-0, I don't know. It's funny to look back and say, well, you won 33 games in a row, because that's not what we set out to do. Yeah, we set out to have a great year, you know, try to win the tournament, but everybody thought, well, is it added pressure because you're undefeated and you got to stay undefeated? Well, I didn't think so. If we got beat one time, that wouldn't have killed us.
When we return, we'll look at Michigan State and Indiana State on the way to the Final Four. Welcome back to Magic versus Bird, the game that changed the game. At tournament time, the Spartans were the Mid-East #2 seed. The Sycamores were seeded first in the Midwest. Both teams felt the tournament was theirs to win.
I know if we do the things we can do best, if we run our offense, we play our defense, then no team in the country can handle Michigan State.
Our guys have set a goal to get to the Final Four. I hope we play well enough to do it. I'll see ya.
There he is, Bill Hodges, the coach of the #1 rated Sycamores of Indiana State.
What do you remember, Larry, about the run to get there? I mean, DePaul, some of the other stops along the way in that because you won a lot of close games.
Yeah, we started off Virginia Tech, and it was a close ball game the first half, and one of our players, Alex Gilbert, got a rebound dunk and just ignited the crowd.
Oh, that's a great pass! Oh, he loved that one. Larry Bird threw a smile on that one, Jim. There he is. Bird takes it to the basket and drops it in. Hey, he's doing it all right now.
Then we went on to win by around 20 points. Then we played Oklahoma. The Oklahoma coach at the time, Dave Bliss, was an assistant at IU when I was at IU, so there's no question in my mind I wanted to win that game.
Bird from 25. Bang! And off to Bird, who fires from 20. Got it. Bird. He's really popping now. They're standing all around this arena, applauding the player of the year, Larry Bird.
Then we move on and play Arkansas, which was a tough battle for us. They had a great team.
And Moncrief really battled you, right?
Yeah, he battled me, and they were good. You know, he had the strength and the quickness to stay with me, and it was just one of them games that seesaw back and forth.
We couldn't stop Sidney Moncrief.
Moncrief fakes out Staley, double pump, flips it up and in.
It was kind of like a chess game.
Bird, turn around, jumper! This one of the great battles of two super players that you'll ever want to see. Moncrief jumping over Heaton for Arkansas lead.
Pretty much a shootout at the OK Corral.
Nothing calls for Bird, takes the shot, good, ties it.
And it came down to the last second shot.
This is the moment of truth, folks. 7 seconds to go. Reed gets it to Heaton. Heaton the clutch player. Left hand! He made it! 1 second to go! Game is over! Bob Heaton keeps Indiana State undefeated. They're on to the Final Four.
They're going to the Final Four.
I don't know what to say. We're here. We finally made it.
Michigan State's run to the Final Four was less eventful. After 2 easy wins, one against Lamar, the other over LSU, the Spartans reached the Mid-East Final. I know Notre Dame was kind of like your Super Bowl because they were they were on TV a lot.
It was Notre Dame. I mean, we wanted to play them. They had 5 or 6 guys who went to the NBA. We were scheduled to play them earlier, but they didn't want to play us. They wanted us to come to their arena instead of playing us at Michigan State, so that made us mad. So we always wanted to play Notre Dame.
We had a play called go on the tip.
Notre Dame didn't put a guy back at the free throw line to defend.
Judd decided we would tip forward and we would attack right off the jump ball. And I told Berkovich in practice, I say, if we get this play and if you get the ball, don't lay it up, dunk it. We want to make a statement.
Kelser tipped it to Irvin, and Irvin did one of these jobs over his back to Berkovich.
We wanted to make a sound opening statement, and we certainly did.
Notre Dame was the Mid-East region's #1 seed, but the Spartans were playing their best basketball of the season and raced out to an 11-point halftime lead and coasted to the Final Four.
Digger Phelps said after the game. He said that ball game was over in the first 30 seconds, and it really was.
We were so happy to beat Notre Dame. That was like our championship in a sense.
Michigan State and Indiana State had both reached the Final Four in Salt Lake City. That Saturday, in the afternoon's first game, the Spartans faced an unlikely opponent from the Ivy League, the University of Pennsylvania.
Trying to get psyched up, and even Irvin says, "Hey, Coach, that's the Ivy League." And I said, "Yeah, and they beat Syracuse and North Carolina." "Yeah, but it's the Ivy League."
Penn was just cold. They shot the ball just terribly. And every time they missed, we would go down and lay it up and end up shooting probably 60% for the game. We blew them out.
The final score was 101-67, and it wasn't even that close. It was also in sharp contrast to what lay ahead for Bird and Indiana State against a much tougher opponent.
We played DePaul, which went right down the wire again, and I really felt that one of the reasons we beat them is because I shot the ball extremely well that day.
In reality, Bird's shooting was magical. A remarkable 16 of 19 for the game.
Nobody has it in this game. Larry Bird inside. Bird. Oh, what a shot. Does he ever miss? Bird. Oh, what a touch.
Everything was flowing for me. I got some easy baskets underneath, and I went outside and hit a couple shots. Right at halftime, 2 or 3 seconds to go, Brad Miley went up and kicked it off to me, and I hit a little runner, so I knew I was on a roll, but I also knew I had to score between 35 and 40 points for us to win.
35 is what Larry got, and Indiana State needed every one of those points to hold off DePaul 76-74 and set up the meeting everyone wanted to see.
It's funny, here we are playing Penn. Our crowd is not worried about Penn. They're hollering, "We want Indiana State." And their crowd, not worried about DePaul, they wanted Michigan State.
Up next, the hype surrounding the final game.
It would be and was a programmer's dream to put on a national championship game between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Welcome back to Magic versus Bird, the game that changed the game.
The fans have poured into Salt Lake City in record numbers, and they are infected with basketball fever.
The game that everyone wanted to see was about to become a reality. Undefeated Indiana State with Larry Bird going head-to-head with Magic Johnson and his powerful Spartans from Michigan State.
Those who believe in magic and those who appreciate the beauty of a rare bird have come to see basketball's best and witness the crowning of a new national champion.
I've never been in the finals before. I didn't know what to expect, but there's a lot of press and a lot of talk, and how that the way we played the game brought our teammates together. It was about team instead of individuals, so I knew a little bit about what was going on. It was a tough situation for me because I knew that we had to play our best game to win, and if we played them 10 times, they'd probably beat us 8 or 9 times out of 10, but we had that one shot to do it.
The fact that they were undefeated, was that something that motivated you, or the fact that Larry was the college player of the year, that, you had extra little motivation for you there?
Well, I think just playing against Larry and the fact that they were undefeated, yeah. I mean, they either going to make history on us or, we got a chance to beat them and make some history. It was amazing. The writers wanted it. Everybody around the country wanted Indiana State and Michigan State, Larry Bird against Magic.
The hype was tremendous.
The public wanted to see this phenomenon called magic in this Bird person.
We really had at that time the 2 best ball players in America, arguably the 2 best ball players of their generation.
Magic versus Bird for all the marbles.
Made all the more wonderful that one was black and one was white, and one was a city kid and one was a country boy.
It would be a programmer's nightmare to put on a national championship game between Michigan State and Indiana State. It would be and was a programmer's dream to put on a national championship game between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
knowing star value and entertainment value and the fact that the millions that were tuning in, many of them probably hadn't watched the game all season long. And this was a way to sell this game to them.
So my gosh, here they are, and we can watch them in our very own homes on Monday night.
Did we hype it? Yeah, we hyped it. Did we have cause to? Yeah. I mean, I think when you have exceptional talent and you can bring it to the fore, it's not necessarily hype. It comes to a loftier end. They call it promotion. Bird against Magic. All of the superlatives have been used, and believe me, all of them have been warranted.
I knew it was a big game. We both knew that. We didn't know 20 years later that it'd still be the #1 watched final. And
yeah, does that surprise you?
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
With everything that's going on now, it's pretty amazing.
It was something special that I wouldn't be surprised if this game went another 20 years and was still the #1 game, because you had two big men that just didn't play the normal game, but whose will to win was higher than anybody else's, who would do anything to win, who would make the plays to win. And so I think that's why the country was just like, I can't wait for this game.
Coming up next, the finals are finally here. Welcome back to Magic versus Bird, the game that changed the game.
We had never been in a game like that, nor had we faced a player like Larry. So the day before the game, they had me practicing Larry. I was Larry Bird. That was my only chance in life. I got to be Larry Bird.
And in that practice, tell the story, because I think you were hitting all the shots like Larry.
I was really Larry. I hit like 12 in a row. From deep, too. That's the only time I had any range. Coach kept hollering at our players, get out there on him. You know, and so I kept hitting and hitting, but it helped our guys to understand what type of game Larry played.
Larry, how in that championship game in defensing the team, was Magic the focal point?
Not really. We knew Magic had all the ability in the world, but we were concerned about Kelser, too. You know, I mean, they had some scoring power. The one thing that they did, they get the rebound and they could push it up the court. Watching Kelser run the breaks and get out, it was tough to stop.
They're both 6'7". Michigan State controls. Donnelly in the backcourt.
They got a lot of easy baskets in us that night.
Carl Nix. Rebound Johnson. Magic Johnson with the ball. And he is fouled. Look at Irvin Magic Johnson.
Carl Nix took a shot. They missed it. I remember Irvin got the rebound with one hand, raced it up the floor, weaving and what have you. And because he was a great passer, they don't know if he's going to pass it or shoot it. Well, they shot it, and he got it off the glass, and he got fouled, so he had a three-point opportunity, and I remember he was slapping five with guys, and he was all fired up. We got the jump out of the gate that we wanted.
It was nice to see Irvin come out and dominate right off the bat. It shows his will to go out and dominate a game. That will goes to the other players and gets us fired up and gets us going.
Led by Magic, Michigan State did to Indiana State what they had done to everyone else in the tournament. The Spartans dominated the game's first 10 minutes and jumped out to an early lead.
Johnson from Kelser scores. 18-12, Michigan State with the ball and the lead. Magic Johnson from 15, and he loves to hit that backboard. And Magic Johnson hanging and hitting a 12-footer. 30-19, the Spartans lead. Rebound Charles. Johnson, 3-on-1. Here it comes. The alley-oop to Greg Kelser. Michigan State with an 11-point lead. That's the largest of the game.
So how in that game, in that championship, did you, because it looked like Larry was harassed at every moment. He had 2-3 guys on him.
Well, we tried to put a man and a half on him, a man or two men on him, to try to make it difficult for him, not to score, but to see the other guys. Because we couldn't stop him from scoring. But what we try to do is not let him see the other guys and get them involved in the game.
Perhaps even more important than the Spartans' offensive surge was the way they had caged Larry Bird, holding him to just 4 baskets in 11 shots.
It became apparent early on that Bird was really having to fight just to see some daylight.
I'm sure they only had 5 guys out on the court, but it sure felt like they had about 7.
Check that zone from this long angle. You see how those white shirts really do jam inside.
They ran that matchup zone defense and took us out of our rhythm.
We didn't have any rhythm. Larry was sandwiched the whole game.
Larry Bird's getting buried in that zone a little bit. Look at they have him sandwiched in completely. You just can't get him the ball.
If Larry Bird put the ball on the floor, we had 2 guys on him immediately. And what we did was an excellent job with executing the game plan.
The plan was that night to not let him sit there and pick us apart with his passing, setting his teammates up, nor were we going to give him clean looks at the basket.
It was such a smothering defense, and it was geared to stop him. It was 5 men stopping 1.
We passed him along like a baton. If he was in my area, I'd say, okay, I got him, and then he moved across to the middle. I said, Jay, Ron, here he is for you. Or if he goes over to the other side, okay, Irvin, you got him. We always knew where he was on the floor, and we tried to frustrate him.
Well, it was frustrating, and I knew they was going to double and triple team me. I knew that was going to happen because with their size and their ability and their quickness, but I thought I'd be able to pass it around and guys would have open looks, and that didn't happen because of their ability to get all over me and with their wingspan and their height really caused me problems.
You remember stealing, there was a pass that Magic tried an alley-oop, and you, first half, I think, stole it above, near the rim. Do you remember that?
It was near it wasn't above the rim, it was probably near.
The secondary players are not hitting that perimeter shot. Oh, Bird! Great play by Bird, and he saves it. Standing ovation from some of the fans, and they're not in the Indiana State section.
At halftime, Michigan State up 37-28. Just remember, what do you recall being said in the locker room, Larry, at that point?
Well, I think we were pretty pleased just being down by 9. You know, I mean, we weren't playing well. I didn't hit many shots the first half. We knew we had to get back and stop the break. We felt we had a good shot of winning it. But our defense had to pick up, and we had to get back on defense, and we had to control Magic and Kelser a little bit better.
Greg was in foul trouble, 3 fouls. He had to sit down. We felt we should have hit a couple more baskets. 9 points was okay, but normally we was up in double figures. So in our NCAA tournament run, so we were disappointed being up only 9.
After the break, a champion is crowned.
I got one against the greatest player.
Welcome back to Magic versus Bird, the game that changed the game. Thanks to Michigan State's Terry Donnelly, the second half began just like the first, with the Spartans again dominating the action.
Terry Donnelly, the little left-hander, hitting a jumper from the side. Magic double team. There's the trap you were talking about, Al, but men are going to be open like Terry Donnelly. Here's the little guard, rarely shoots, averages 5-6 points a game, but when he's open, he's deadly. Donnelly. Terry Donnelly hits again, the junior from St. Louis, Missouri. And Michigan State enjoys its widest margin of this game.
There was a point, Magic, where Michigan State goes up by 16. Is that where you think you pretty much had it locked up?
Terry Donnelly got hot, and we kept feeding it to him. I think he hit 5 in a row. We said, okay, here we go now. We finally can put some distance in between ourselves and Indiana State. And just as that happened, Greg Kelser gets his 4th. He goes to the bench.
Guard in there along with a good size foul is on Kelser. Number 4 as Bird had position and Kelser called for charging.
They start feeling good about themselves. And here they come now. The crowd start getting in it for them, and they made a nice run.
Heaton from 18, and he connects. Bird, Johnson, and Vincent. Nix off to Staley. Basket is good, and the foul.
There were definitely concerns at this particular time. I think the Michigan State people's collars got a little bit tighter.
So things are turning a bit. And you know when you're 33-0, you guys are never going to quit.
We lost that momentum. We lost that edge, and they started to gain it.
And he gets it back. He's at the Bird. Bird. Oh! Here comes the clock. Michigan State's 16-point lead has been whittled to 9.
It got to be a battle again.
Down low, looking for offensive rebound. Nix, he made the play. He earned the bucket.
I'm a little nervous because Larry Bird's feeling it now.
A basket here would pull Indiana State to within 6. Bird, 52-46, and Indiana State has cut 10 points off that 16-point Spartan advantage.
I felt during that game when we made a run, got it down to 6, that whoever had the last run from that point on was going to win the ball game.
History proved Bird to be a prophet. The game's last run did decide the winner, and it came at the hand of Magic and Michigan State.
Spartan lead, trying to run out that clock now, and here goes Johnson. And the foul is on number 30 of Indiana State, Bob Heaton.
And they called it an undercut foul, an intentional foul, so they awarded him 2 free throws. So it's a 4-point play, and that got us back in control.
That was probably the play that broke their back. Man, they just came back. They're playing very well, and then that play kind of like sealed the deal for us.
And that just broke our momentum, and it was just too much to overcome against a great team.
I remember the officiating was terrible in that game.
Well, sure it was.
Yeah.
Now.
Whatever it was that night, Indiana State just couldn't seem to get on track. Bird, in particular, struggled, shooting just 7 of 21 to finish the game with 19 points and only 2 assists. Magic was, well, magical. His uncanny ability to continually find a streaking Greg Kelser gave the Spartans a slew of easy baskets in the game's final minutes as Michigan State steadily pulled away to hand Indiana State its first loss of the season, 75-64. It wasn't a well-played game, and it certainly didn't match its hype. But in reality, how could it? Bird and Magic each would have had to have scored 50 in a triple overtime game. Instead, that night, we had to settle for something different. Perhaps something even more grand. A rivalry for the ages that began the night Magic went 1-up on Larry Bird.
Breaks my heart. Yeah. It really does, because we had an opportunity. No, we didn't have a lot of NBA talent on our team, but we were a team. And, we were a team of guys that strived and went out every night, and we worked, and we tried to do the right things. And, when you got a team and guys know the roles and they stick to the roles, you can't get any better than that. Yeah, I was a focal point, yes, and I was the one that's scoring the points and getting the rebounds. But if it wasn't for these other 4 guys out there with me, it would have never worked.
And after the game, it was very emotional for you. I remember seeing it.
Well, it was the biggest game of our life, and we were so close. Coming from Terre Haute after leaving IU and ISU, I wanted so bad to bring that championship trophy home to them. And it wasn't really the feeling I had about losing the game, because that was over with and I was done. It was about all of a sudden my career, I'm done at Indiana State. I had 4 good years there, and I enjoyed it, and just knowing that was coming to the end was pretty tough at the time.
You remember Magic coming by or hugging you or saying something afterwards?
Yeah, he said, you gave it a good effort, but it wasn't good enough.
No. What does that mean to you, Magic, that championship and winning that year to this day?
Well, I got one over him.
Really? Is that how you measure it?
Yeah, I got one against the greatest player that ever played on the floor. I always say that. Michael is the best to play in the air. Larry's the best to ever play on the ground. And I know I got that one over him, and that's what it means. Just like he told you, he's disappointed to his day. I know he's going to always be disappointed. We know these type of things because we're winners. We're guys who hate to lose. And so I got that one, and it's special to have it.
In this case, the end was just the beginning. After '79, the popularity of the NCAA tournament exploded. And Bird and Magic, well, when they got to the NBA, their rivalry became legendary. Together, they lifted basketball to extraordinary heights. 2 dynamic players who first met on a court one night in March and played the game that changed the game. I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.